In this video, we are reviewing how to simplify expressions involving exponents where a power is raised to a power. So remember from our last video, we talked about how this big number is the base, and then the little number up here is an exponent. And so this topic says where a power is raised to a power. You can also call a power an exponent and vice versa. So it's basically saying when we have an exponent raised to an exponent, because this is 4 to the second and then raised to the fourth. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing we've been doing where I expand each of the problems. So starting here, 4 squared means 4 times 4, because we know it means that we're multiplying 4 two different times. And then I know I'm going to repeat this 4 different times. Okay, so I have 1, so I'm going to have 4 groups of them. And I'll put it over here. Okay, so then I can see I have 4 groups of them, and then total I have 2, 3, 4. There's 8 of them, so my answer is 4 to the 8th. So just like our other topic, you are just counting up, you're expanding and then counting up how many of each number or letter you have. All right, so for B, x squared is x times x, and then y, and then I'm going to repeat this 3 different times. Sorry, okay. So I have x times y again, and then one more. And then now I'm just going to count up how much of each letter I have. So for x, I have 6 of them. And for y, I have 3 of them. So my answer is x to the 6th, y to the 3rd. All right, and then for C, so I know that when I have a negative exponent, that means that this is going to go to the bottom of the fraction. All right, it's going to go to the bottom, because remember we learned in the video that if I have 5 to the negative 2, that's the same thing as 1 over 5 squared, and we throw away the negative. Remember, because again, the negative exponent means repeated division instead of repeated multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to move the x to the negative 3 onto the bottom here. So my new problem is y squared over x cubed, and then all of that is still squared. So the only thing I did was just move this to the bottom. So now I can still expand like I was before. So on top I have y squared, so that's y times y. And then on the bottom, x cubed or x to the 3rd is x times x times x. So I'm still doing the same thing, I'm just expanding. The only difference is now that we have a fraction. And I need to do this 2 different times. Okay, so let me repeat this over again. So y times y, and then x times x times x. Okay, so now I can't cancel out anything because I don't have the same letter on the top or the bottom. Because remember, if we did have like an x over an x, I could cross them out. But I don't have any common letters on top or bottom. So I'm just going to count what I have. So on top, I can see that I have 4y, so that's y to the 4th. Remember, the x's live on the bottom, so keep them down here. So I can see that I have 6 x's, so that's x to the 6th. And that would be my final answer for that one. So again, if there's any negative exponents, I move them. And then after, I'm just expanding. So what's the shortcut on this one? So if you don't feel like having to write it out every time, what's the shortcut? So I can see here that if I did 2 times 4, that would give me 8. So it looks like our shortcut is that if it's a power raised to a power, we can multiply the exponents. And again, not a trick that you have to use, but it's kind of nice if you don't have to expand every time. So this would be 4 to the 8th, because again, I'm just multiplying 2 times 4. Let's see if that worked for B. So here we kind of have to distribute. Okay, so 2 times 3 was 6. Okay, that checks out. And then remember, if there's not an exponent, we can just put a 1. And so if I do 1 times 3, that would give me 3 right here. Okay, for C, even though there is the negative, the same trick still works. So if I do it on the side over here, let me rewrite the problem. So again, if I kind of distribute the power like I did on B, okay, so negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. 2 times 2 is 4. And then if I move this negative exponent to the bottom like I'm supposed to, then this turns into y to the 4th over x to the 6th, and that's the same thing that I got over here. So again, you don't have to use the shortcut, but it is a nice one if you know how to use it.